Hi, welcome back, and it's time to do another 30-day drawing challenge, and I thought it might be a nice opportunity for us to maybe start it together, another come draw with me style episode. I've done one on trees, and I've just finished one on dragons, and I'm not sure I'll necessarily post a video going through this one in full, but I had a blast with this, and the best part about these drawing challenges for me is committing to 30 minutes to an hour in the day just to do some drawing. And often I sit down without a plan. I'll just open the book and just see what comes to me. Sometimes it's studying other fabulous artists and trying to see what makes them tick. But often it's just something that comes out of my head. So I've got some dumplings that are cooking on the stove right now. And I thought, wow, why don't we get some dumplings in our belly and then we can perhaps do some drawing together. Before we do though, a couple of things that I've managed to purchase recently I wanted to share with you. I have indoctrinated another young mind into the wonders of Tintin, and for Christmas I bought them part 2 of this story because I couldn't find this. I bought them Explorers on the Moon. I know, crazy. Give them part 2. But I recently found part 1, so I'm going to quickly make sure they get this in their hot little hands and read this before they read part 2. The other thing that I purchased, or had purchased for me by someone very dear to me, was The Little Prince. And I have a little bit of a tortured history with this book because my beautiful grandmother, who passed away some time ago now, who was a wonderful influence on me when I was growing up, particularly in what I was reading and listening to. She wanted me to read this book, and she asked me to read it so many times. In fact, I think she even gave me one of her copies at one stage, and I never read it. I don't understand why. I don't know why I didn't read it. I don't know why I was blocked on it, but I regret it. I didn't get the chance to have a conversation with her about it, but this friend of mine managed to convince me that it's time to get back in the saddle and not put it off any longer. And I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it immensely. Reading little bits and pieces of it, savouring it just before I go to bed. So for those people who have read this and understand how special it is, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm glad I'm managing to tick this off, and I'm really obviously sad that I'll never be able to talk about this with my grandmother, but I'm still very grateful that she at least opened my eyes to this book. I'm also listening to Andy Serkis reading The Lord of the Rings. What a treat. This is actually the second time I've listened to this particular audiobook. If you've never read Lord of the Rings, you've been intimidated by the size of it. What a fantastic way to hear this story. He is an absolute talent, Andy Serkis, for so many different reasons, but he is a beautiful orator. He's a lovely, he has a lovely voice, but he does amazing accents and creates his astounding character voices as well. Just absolutely blissing out listening to that on my drive to work or on my walks. Highly recommend Andy Serkis reading The Lord of the Rings. Now I can hear, you might be able to hear, my dumplings are just about ready. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to have some dumplings, and the next time you see me, I'm going to be in my studio. I hope you'll join me, and we'll work out what the next 30-day challenge is going to be. Some of you might already know, but if you don't, all will be revealed in just a moment. I'll see you soon. I'm at the table, burnt my dumplings. Goes to show I need to keep my intros a little bit tighter, a little bit trimmer, but burnt dumplings are better than no dumplings, I've discovered. They were still delicious. But enough about dumplings. Let's draw together. And this is the first page of my new 30-day challenge sketchbook. Somebody asked about the brand of book, and this is the type of, I won't try and pronounce that name because I'm going to butcher it, but some clever commenter actually identified the brand of these sketchbooks just from the bookmark. Very impressive. All right, so Giant, I just want to start with something basically simple. I'm thinking pencil for this sketch series, just to give me a little bit more tonal range, and my first thought was just to go for an archetype style giant that I remember seeing in books when I was growing up. So, look, the fun part about doing this new series for me is going to be how to communicate scale, because a giant without scale can just look like a grumpy old man. If I'm choosing to draw grumpy old man style giants, I will try to mix it up a bit, to be honest. So I need to think about how I'm going to be introducing scale. There's lots of ways to do that. I think that's going to be the fun part, to mix that up a little bit. Always start with my nose, big bulbous noses. And I'm imagining gravity is going to be affecting our old giant friends quite a lot more than it affects us. So I'm going to make him look a little bit saggy in the face. Sort of a slight 3/4 view for old mate here. So maybe some nice unkempt and crazy eyebrows coming off to the side here, and I'm not quite sure where the eye is going to be in there. It's going to be in there somewhere, probably going to be pretty small looking. Okay, so far so good. The doing things in pencil is obviously a lot more forgiving than doing work in the ink like I've been doing previously, so it lets me just play around a little bit more. Again, I'm probably going to go for some very unkempt, crazy style moustache, and I'm also expecting that giants probably won't have the greatest dental plans, so I'm going to have this big tooth sort of sticking up here out over his lip, this big fat lip sitting in under here. All right, starting to take shape. Love drawing these sorts of faces. Lots of characters. Kind of like the trees for me when you're drawing the trees, lots of textural lines. Drawing craggy old faces, so much fun drawing in all the little wrinkles and working out where the cavities are and the shadows are going to hide and so forth. All right, so there's a tooth. Let's get old droopy moustache out this side as well. Like that. And I'm expecting he'll probably have a beard to go with his big moustache. Come up around his cheek line there. Again, this is fun, just playing with lots of lines. Just letting the pencil dance around a little bit, like so, and just going back in to just pull out some of the features, going back over these lines just to make sure the shapes are reading okay. And I obviously don't want to draw all of the hairs, but I want to give a little bit of a sense of the volume and the matted nature of the beard. Okay, I'm liking this so far. Let's give him some slightly furrowed brows. Like so. Put those ones up there. Little wrinkles on there. And we might say that he just has sort of this very lank and unkempt hair just falling down around and framing his face. Okay, so far I'm very happy with our giant friend. He's starting to take some shape. There we go. This is working for me. And I might just give a hint of where his shoulder might be there, and likewise here. Cool. I'll just make that line a little bit darker just to show where his eye cavity might be in there. And so at the moment you can't really see his eye, where his eye is focused, but that's okay. I don't mind that. Leave a little bit of mystery in there. Okay, so now for some hints of scale. There's lots of different things we can try. And what I might do is, let's try just throwing a hand in here. Now, if I was going to be a little bit more careful about this, I might use some reference here, but I'm just going to free draw the craggy old hand with not the best nails. So a bit of a thumb there, and some big fingers. Again, some not particularly pleasant looking nails on the ends of them. The finger's pretty long, but that's okay, I'll get past that. And I won't draw all the fingers, I'll just draw enough to give a hint that he's cupping something. And this will be one of the ways of showing some scale in this case, because I'm going to put in the palm of his hand a little visitor that he's having a chat with. So and again, we don't have to do too much in the way of detail for our figure in here. A glorified box figure, really, just to give. And we might, put hands on hip there and hand up. To show that this is like a conversation. This is not somebody who's quaking in their boots being held by a giant, so maybe there's a relationship here that's already been formed. All right. Yeah. Very subtle. This, essentially no more than a thumbnail type sketch at the moment, but as I did with some of my other 30-day challenge sketches, I'll sometimes go back in on some of them and work them up a little bit more. But I want to keep this one reasonably short, just to get the ball rolling. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of happy with this as the starting point. And we might add just a few more hints of scale in the back here, or at least setting the scene a little bit. Put some hills in the background there. And like that. Now another really cheeky way to indicate scale here is I might just stick a few little very simple bird shapes around his head. Let's see if we can do maybe a few just overlapping onto his head too, just so you can get a bit of a sense. So they're not just right off in the distance, but they're actually there. And not doing anything more than glorified little V's and inverted V's. And lastly, we might just add some nice soft, fluffy fairy tale style clouds in the background. Work out if there's anything I want to do around the sky. Just a little bit there to pull the clouds out away from the sky. Cool. I'm happy with that. I can't remember what the date is, and both of the things that have dates on them are currently filming, so I'll add the date at some point. But that's a great start. I hope you took the opportunity to draw with me. I would love to hear from you if you're going to be drawing some giants as well, or if you have drawn giants, what sort of giants you have drawn in the past. Yeah, I'd love to shout out all of your work if you have it. So send it to me. Okay. So there you go. Thanks for keeping me company while I started my new 30-day challenge drawing giants. I'm really excited about the possibilities. Going to be lots of storytelling opportunities, I think, with this particular challenge. I was quite happy with our little fellow here. Get this bookmark out of the way. He looks all right. In fact, I did a couple of other quick studies. I tried another one, similar one in pencil, just to see how that would track. And then I tried one in ink just to see if I'd made the right choice with ink over pencil over ink. Definitely made the right choice. Not the greatest drawing, but good to try them out. Got to get some of those things out of the system. Simple pleasure this week. I'm actually going to shout out a good friend of mine, LG, who I've mentioned a few times on this channel, and she's a frequent contributor in the comments, fellow Tolkien enthusiast, and a fabulous painter. Plein air painting in particular. I'll see if I can make sure I link to her socials down below. I really strongly recommend you check her out. And she's been very kind, sharing some of her simple pleasures over the time. I'm pretty sure I've borrowed a few of them. Her one for last video was to find a nice warm sunny spot near a south-facing window. So for all you Northern Hemisphere people, it's very cold there, I know, and so south-facing windows, warm spots makes perfect sense. Down here in the Southern Hemisphere, it's really hot outside, and we actually favour the north-facing windows, and we're looking for cool spots right now. So my simple pleasure is finding a nice, cool place to perhaps read my book or do some drawing. Thank you again for all of your support, for your comments, for nice to see some other Silver Point enthusiasts out there too, and Silver Point practitioners out there. And I look forward to catching up with you in another couple of weeks. I'm just about to head off to the beach for a few days. It'll be nice to jump in the water and have some nice time by the coast. I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks' time. Probably another Come Draw With Me episode. I like drawing. I hope you like drawing with me. I'll see you then. Okay, bye. Can't wait. It'll be lovely to jump in the water and soak this head of mine. What the hell am I talking about?